All right, welcome back to It's Time Picks. We have UFC 291 Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, the rematch from 2018. So we are 5 years later, and overall for a UFC type of card, it's not the best. But we do got two top five guys going at each other again. So I mean, and then you got Pereira with his first light heavyweight fight against Blachowicz. And there is a bunch of good fights on the card. I wish there was 14 or 15, but we'll have to live with 12 and hope that no other ones get canceled or cut. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this card though.
Saying like, I know we missed last week because I was in Florida. Hey, but hey, I got the time. I got away from the casino area to make this video, and 12 fights, a lot easier than 15. So yeah, as a whole, I think this card should be good though. Some good spots.
Definitely. So let's jump right into it. First fight off, we got Miranda Maverick and Priscilla Cachoeira. And I know you've never really been a fan of Maverick. You like going against her in every fight. Are you doing that in this one?
Hell no. I think, look, I know she's taking this fight on short notice. Don't get me wrong, but even at Cachoeira's price tag at 6'8", she's still gonna be in that category of KO or bust. I don't see her winning a 15-minute decision on Maverick, even though Cachoeira does have like 4 inches in height. I think that actually is going to benefit Maverick especially when she gets into the overall guard and get the takedowns. I think Maverick's going to actually do whatever the hell she wants. She trains in altitude already, so I see why she wants to try to get back after an embarrassing loss to Jasmine, which I was all over. So even though Cachoeira has decent takedown defense, but she really hasn't fought too many. When she goes with like grapplers and wrestlers, she still finds a way to get taken down. So I'm going Maverick. I think she's a decent play. If you think like other plays aren't going to do it, if you think could she get a submission within under 2.5, maybe. If not at 9-4, couldn't she pay up? Maybe get like 110, 120. It's doable if she takedowns and repeats. So depending on how your lines look and if you like other dogs, she's not a bad play. I think I don't want to say easy win. Nothing's the easy win in women's fights, but I think this is a get back spot for Maverick.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm also a Maverick. I actually went into the week, kind of thinking, all right, maybe Cachoeira can do her thing and get a knockout. But the more that I was looking into it, Maverick's never been finished in a professional career. So I mean, she is tough, and we've seen her fight. She will fight for your money. She's one of those, grinded out type of fighters. And if Cachoeira can't defend the takedown, she's just gonna get annihilated in this fight. So. I'm with you. I'm all over Maverick. So first fight of the night, both of us going with Miranda Maverick. Next up, we have Matthew Semmelsberger and Uros Medic. And Semmelsberger, if you dig back to that Jason Witt fight, which is the fight that like everybody got really excited for because he came out, he plastered him in 16 seconds. Then he went on to lose a really kind of close fight to Chaos. He wins two more in a row. One was he knocked out Martin Sano, but then after that fight, he's 2-2, and they've all gone to decision. And I've kind of lost a little trust in him. I don't think he's the fighter that we thought maybe he could be. Medic, on the other hand, I'm still pretty high on him. I do think. I mean, if you look at his loss, he lost to Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner's a top 5 guy. That's a good freaking loss.
Oh yeah.
And Medic he came in and he wasn't prepared for the grappling that Turner had, and he I'm sure he learned a lot from that fight. But in this one, he doesn't have to worry about that. I'll take Medic in just about every striking match that he gets right now. So I'm all over Medic. I like Medic early, first or second round TKO.
Ooh, I'm not gonna. I was actually torn on this fight for a good minute. I know Semmelsberger is actually going up to 170 this fight. Medic is taking this fight on short notice, and I know the reason why he was out was because I know he had like some type of surgery on his left hand from his last fight. If this wasn't short notice, I think Meg is still a live dog. I'm gonna have like hand builds with him in it. I'm slightly on the more full camp Semmelsberger. I don't really have a full confidence on it to an extent, but He is improving his game. He can get takedowns. You've seen Meta get taken down with no problem. I'm not expecting Semmelsberger to attack submissions. I think he's more gonna, if he does get takedown, Medic, it's more like control time and holding until either the ref gets up or Medic finds a way to get up. But one thing about Medic that I saw that was very interesting, I actually wrote it down. He's in all his wins, he's never gone past a round 2 mark. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when you're doing your GPP and you're looking for live dogs, that's someone you have to circle.
Well, and see, and if you think about it, Medic, man, if you go back to the 2 fights that he won in the UFC, his hands are so fast. It's just disgusting. And I don't know if Semmelsberger will be able to handle that. I think Medic at 170 is even more dangerous than he was at 155.
We're gonna see how his gas tag's gonna look because, like I said, he's gonna get
Yeah,
tested
that
whatever it is.
after the first
Um,
round, it could be dicey.
yes. Like I said, I'm not fully confident. I want it. I almost want to switch my pick to an extent, but like I'm gonna go Semmelsberger. I
All
don't
right.
really have the best confidence on it though. But I think the winner of this fight, I don't see a judges in this scorecard. Either Meta gets the first round TKO, or it wouldn't shock me if late round 1 into round 2, Semmelsberger gets a TKO on the ground.
It's definitely possible, but Medic's only loss on his record was the submission from Turner. So, he's obviously got a pretty good chin. But all right, second fight, we are split. You have Matthew Semmelsberger and I have Uros Medic. Next up, we have CJ Vergara and Vinicius Salvador. Where you at?
This is one of the fights I circled. I think this could be a potential sneaky fight of the night. Both guys
Mhm.
come wild. Vergara comes in with his clean boxing coming forward. Vinicius thinks he's a wannabe Roy Jones, bobbing, weaving like he's a boxer, but he has finish ability. He has good hands when he does connect. And we've seen Vergara last fight when Lacerda landed clean. He was running on skates.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I actually wrote down, I haven't apostrophes, 13 of 14 finishes, all within the first 2 rounds from
Yep.
Salvador. I know Vergara never been knocked out, never been TKO, but it wouldn't shock me if this type of fight where Vergara comes in with his guard down, bobbing, weaving, and tries to come in with an overhand, and Salvador absolutely clips him. I'm going Salvador. I think he's a real live dog at 7,500.
I said in my article that this is a fight that you should target for GP contests, and it will likely be a slugfest. One of them will likely get knocked out, and I have Salvador. I was on Salvador in
Ooh.
his fight against Altamirano. Altamirano used a little more wrestling than Salvador thought he was going to, and I think it kind of threw him off. I think Salvador came into that fight expecting it to be a striking match. He didn't get that, and he made some mistakes and got punished for it. I don't think we see that in this one. And like you said, Daniel Lacerda put Vergara on skates, and I don't think he's going to be skating away from anything that Salvador lands flush. So I'm with you on that. I've got Salvador. So both of us going with Vinicius Salvador. Next up, we have Jake Matthews and Darius Flowers. And I went and tried to find some tape on Flowers. He's actually kind of an impressive fighter, and if he was going against a lower level guy, I might actually be tempted to take him. He does have really good hands, um, but you're walking into your UFC debut and you're getting Jake Matthews, and Jake Matthews is actually a really solid, well-rounded fighter. He showed us that he can strike in this fight against Fiallo, and we already know that he's a grappler. So I've got Matthews. I think this is going to be I don't want to say it's an easy fight for him because if he comes in too confident, he's going to get himself knocked out. But I do think that he comes in with the game plan that he needs to and takes this to the mat where he's just going to dominate him.
So I'll say this right now. If this was a full camp for Flowers, I would consider. I really would. He has impressive power in his hands. He actually does have a wrestling background. He trains with Bilal Muhammad. And Bilal
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad said he's a very good wrestler. Um, but one thing I know about Flowers, he's also very aggressive round 1. He lets his hands go. And the only thing that scares me, and I'm gonna compare Jake Matthews to the Dober chin. Matthews got his chin tested good against Matthew Semmelsberger. Got knocked down 2, 3 times, and it happened to Dober. And then he finally ran into Pavola, and Pavola finally had that one shot that he was able to TKO him. what I think is going to happen is if Flowers does win, he's going to win within the first round because he's also taking this fight on very short notice. And one thing I am worried about is if he gets his hands going, it wouldn't shock me if he's like, you know what, I'm gonna try to finish with ground and pound. And what's gonna happen? 4 of his 5 losses are by submission. So you do not want to. I have a feeling he's gonna try to shoot an ugly, sloppy takedown. And it wouldn't shock me if Jake Matthews ended up getting a guillotine or rear naked
100%.
choke. So I'm on
100%.
Jake Matthews. He's one of these hit or miss fighters. If he's on, he's going to score probably within 105 to 115 points, which is doable for this fight.
Yep.
If not, if Matthews shows up like he did against Matthew Semmelsberger, I still think he still wins, but it's going to be a sloppy fight. He's
It'll
not
look
going to
like
be up 93.
the Deladova.
What about Aldova?
It'll look like that fight from last week.
Oh yeah, that's
No, Medellina.
Jack Della versus Della.
And it'll look similar to that one, I think. But
Mhm.
I think Matthews just
Yeah,
comes in prepared and does
I
what he
think he's
needs
going to
to.
make a submission.
If he tries to strike with him, it's going to be a lot closer than it should be.
Yeah.
That's really all there is to it. So both of us going with Jake Matthews. Next up, we have Roman Kopylov and Claudio Ribeiro. And I know you've been a fan of Kopylov in the past. Still going with him?
I actually like both of these guys because I picked Ribeiro over Al Hassan,
Yep.
and I even picked Ribeiro over Joe Holmes. And I do like Joe Holmes, but
He going.
I don't think I'm gonna target this fight too much. It's a bigger cage. If it was a smaller cage, potential more violence. I think Ribeiro is gonna be the more athletic striker. He's gonna be throwing his wide shots. I think Kovalov's gonna try to make it more of a cleaner inside the clinch against the cage, control time, get his knees against the body, and it wouldn't shock me if he even works stuff for a takedown or two, just to control the wildness, get Ribeiro tired. I'm gonna be on Kovalov still because I think he's the more well-rounded fighter out of the two. Yes, Ribeiro has 72. Could he get wild and potentially catch Kovalov early? Absolutely. He's wild as shit. But the only thing about his wildness is it can also bite him on the ass if Kovalov fucking shoots down and can take him down. If I'm expecting that, I'm probably not a fight I'm going to target necessarily. But if you're looking for a potential salary saver, Claudio's not a bad choice, especially he is a good finisher. But I'm expecting a clinch, low scoring type of fight, and Kovalov getting a decision.
That's fair. I don't disagree with that. I'm also on Kopylov, but so in the way that I wrote it, I said it is another potential slugfest because we could see them. It could be more of a boring type of thing, or it could just be all out and hell breaks loose. Ribeiro does like to throw caution to the wind, and he just hunts for that knockout. Kopylov is a little more tactical when it comes to his boxing. He likes to wait for his shots, and he's got a really nice counter. Um, as far as you thinking to go to a decision, yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. And I also had noted that this is probably going to be a popular fight for DFS because you could also be looking at a quick win bonus in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
It could easily go down that way for either fighter. So it's a tough one. I think this is the definition and the epitome of GPP, and it's either going to kill you or it's going to save your lineup. So
Like I said, this fight, as you said, this is the fight I think potentially could be leverage. Because if you have it in the smashes, this fight could be low ownership, especially on Kovalov. I think more ownership is going to be on Ribeiro at 72 as a potential dog saver. Because at 72, good finisher. Roman Kovalov, there's a lot of good 9K options. So if he smashes, let's say the first 60 seconds, I'm probably expecting under 20 to 16% underneath them for ownership for Kovalov. But it's definitely a GPP fight. But if you get the leverage right and people are going to be on this potential slugfest, hey, good for you. You're going to potentially get more leverage on the field.
Yep. All right. So both of us going with Roman Kopylov. Next up, we have the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I came in wanting to pick Derek Lewis. I really did. But man, he's on such a horrendous slide. And the problem with Lewis's game is everybody knows what he's going to do. He's going to come in and he's going to look for the knockout. He sits back and he waits, and he doesn't have a ton of volume. He doesn't really have anything but that. So, unfortunately, I'm going to go with Rogerio de Lima because he can either knock him out or he can take him to the ground, submit him, ground and pound, whatever it is. Marcos Rogerio de Lima will probably be high owned. He's only, what, 8,500?
8,500.
Yeah, 8,500. He should easily score over 100 in this fight with a win. Unless he decides to come in and be ultra defensive and just go really slow, which I don't think that he will. That'd be really the only way that this fight doesn't pay off. So I'm on De Lima. It's really all there is to it.
I'll say this right now. If I didn't see Derek Lewis's last fight against Spivak, I would have said, okay, maybe it was just an off night, possibly. But that was the most embarrassing fight I've ever seen in my life.
He didn't even get a significant strike recorded. No. Not a single one.
He threw, he missed, takedown, repeat, takedown, repeat, takedown, repeat, takedown, repeat, until he said, and I hate to say it, I quit. He quit in that fight very terribly. I don't care what he said. He can say, oh, I blacked out before the night of the fight. I'm like, bro, you quit. I'm sorry. I know there's a lot of things people are going to say. And I like Derek Lewis. He's a funny dude. And he does lead, heavyweight knockouts, or tied at least. But Marcus Rogerio de Lima is my most confident pick.
I'm with you.
That's, like I said, and would it shock me if he potentially do the same thing as Spivak? No. He's my, like I said, 100%. I have a lock next to his name. Lock, heart, star, whatever the hell you want to put. He's my most confident pick.
I don't hate it.
And it's not even close.
Well, I definitely agree with you. So both of us going with Marcos Rogerio de Lima. And next up, we have in a fight that I am completely excited for, Trevin Giles and the infamous fast rising Gabriel Bonfim, the better of the two Bonfim brothers. Yes, nothing against his brother, but man, Gabriel's debut was phenomenal. And Joey, do you think he's going to do it again?
He's also one of my favorite plays on this goddamn slate. And look, you can tell by my voice how excited when I saw his name on here. I didn't know. I've been on vacation. I saw the card when I got down to the casinos I'm at. I saw the sport book. I'm like, I'll say right now, I'll give it by late 2024, he's gonna be in the top 15. This kid is talented as hell.
Early 2024.
He has the hands. He has the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has always improving wrestling, which is decent wrestling. Not the best, but he has improving where he get it to the ground. And once you're on the ground, just throw the white flag in. Throw the towel. Don't get me wrong. My only concern about this, yes, Bonfim is the more aggressive guy. He's going to come in, bob and weave. One thing I will get about Giles, he does have decent takedown defense, and he does have a very nice jab. So could it take maybe a couple minutes for Bonfim to get close, or it could be very much, but I think Bonfim's round one. I think he's going to clip Giles, and then I think he's going to grab the neck.
I don't even think it's going to go that way. We're both on Bonfim. I think we're just going to see it a little tiny differently.
Yeah, by knockout.
No, I've got Bonfim by submission, absolutely. But I think it's going to.
I had Bonfim by sub.
No, but you said knock him down. I think he just
down and then a sub.
I think it's just going to be takedown goodbye.
He's one of my most favorite guys right now in the UFC. He's so like, he gets his brother. His brother's talented in his own right, but I think he didn't take Saint Denis too seriously, and you saw what happened there. But Giles is still tough to an extent, but
he is, and you know that
he's another guy I think the UFC can build around with Bonfim. He's very talented.
Absolutely. And I've taken Bonfim or Giles in both of his last two fights, and I was happy to do it, but not in this one. I'm all over Bonfim.
Before we go, I know he's actually going down to 170 for his fight. Giles goes back and forth between 85, 70. Yep. I do prefer Giles at 70, but not this fight.
No, this is just going to be another fight showcase. So, yeah, both of us going with Bonfim. It's one of our favorite plays. He'll probably continue to be one of our favorite plays, and I'm really looking forward to watching him go. So, all right, on to the main card, and it's funny because I have quite a few different picks than a lot of people with RotoWire. Specifically, one person I have all five different, and that would be my editor, and. So I'm definitely different on the main card. There is no doubt about it. I like certain guys. I like certain styles. And if they come out to fight the way that I hope they do, then it should be that way. So first up, we have Michael.
Before you continue, I did not read your picks. Just notice, I did not read your picks at
Good.
all because I was excited to do this damn card once I saw who was on it. And
Yep.
I'm like, once you told me you had all different picks in your editor, I'm like, oh shit, I already know some of these picks are gonna be wild as shit.
Yep.
All right, so let's
Definitely
get into
will.
this
So
main card time.
main card, first fight we have Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. And let's see. Um, I will continue to not be a fan of Kevin Holland. I don't like the way that he fights. I did take him against Ponzinibbio. I did like him in that fight, but when I honestly believe that he is going to lose, I go against him. I don't like the way he fights. I don't like how much he talks. I don't like the way he showboats, and I don't think he's that skilled of a fighter. I think his length and his size difference that he usually has gives him a lot of benefits. In this fight, I've got Michael Chiesa. I do not believe that Holland has the takedown defense needed. If Chiesa comes in like he did in his prior fights, and let's see, he last fought a year and a half ago, I believe. Um, yeah, he lost to Sean Brady
In a good fight, but he got caught.
November 2021. And before that, he got submitted by this Luque.
Yeah.
Before that, he was on a run of 4 fights. 2 of them were whatever. The next 2 were great. Michael Chiesa is a phenomenal grappler. And if he gets this to the mat, I'm telling you right now, Kevin Holland is going to get choked the fuck out. So that's where I'm at. I want Kevin Holland to get shut up once again because I just can't. I hate watching him run his mouth and think that he's so great in the division. It's really annoying. He's not that great of a fighter. Don't at me.
I hope Kevin Holland gets choked the fuck out. Like, not against him. Like, yes, depending on the matchups, is he very entertaining for matchups? Yes. Like when he fought Wonder Boy, that was entertaining, but Wonder Boy and get him.
I had Wonder
If
Boy.
you're giving him strikers versus striker, I'm always excited. Okay, Kevin Holland versus striker. That's gonna be good as shit. Does he have underrated BJJ? Yes, he has underrated BJJ. I call Chiesa one of the dark horses at 170. And a lot of people were saying, oh, but he had his time off. I'm like, okay, listen to this. Yes, he may have had his time off, but not many people are knocking on the door saying, give me Michael Chiesa at 170. Sean Brady did it. He got it done. Okay. Luque was already in the top 6 during the time. He got it.
Yep.
I know Kevin Holland said, oh, I'm taking this fight for money. Where the hell is your takedown defense, bro? Like, Chiesa is a collegiate wrestler. He has wrestling in his traits. He's a very talented Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
The only way Kevin Holland wins this fight is if, and I mean this, if he stuffs the takedowns. And if he does, maybe Holland could potentially TKO him somewhere standing up. I think he has, like I said, 1 takedown. I'm giving it 1. First round. I'm calling it first round sub Chiesa.
That's how
1
I have
sub.
it.
And I don't know if he's going to be on the back. If I get this prediction right, my sub, round 1, arm choke. Boom. He's going to get in the side mount and choke him.
I will take any type of joke. I'll take an anaconda. I would love to see Kevin.
I'll take something I've never heard of before. Just give me a win.
So, yep. Well, I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not. So both of us go home Michael Chiesa.
One of my favorite dogs.
Never count out a world-class grappler and wrestler. It's just not a good idea, especially against a guy who has tried to train his grappling and wrestling, and it's still not there. So,
because he trains out of mainly a striking camp in Texas, which I actually know who the coach is, but he mainly trains, and his coach is a striker. So. Yes, he goes to other gyms for training, of course, but I think 1 takedown, and I think the actual behind the desk work of Chiesa is also going to benefit him because he's seen how Holland fights. Like, take a page out of I'm not trying to call Chiesa Chimaev by any means because no one's fucking Chimaev, but take a little first line. What is it? Wrestle.
Yep, 100%. And it's going to be his game plan. It's always his game plan. Chiesa is not a striker, so I like it. Both of us go on Michael Chiesa. Next up, we have Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green. And where are you at?
Okay, I'm glad I'm starting because I know you said you and your editor was different. And for the longest time, I've been a Tony Ferguson guy.
Yep.
I just think he's done. I guess he fought, top notch. I think he got screwed because he never got his title shot with that long streak that he was on. He deserved a title shot. I wish him and Khabib would have got at it. Both guys in their prime, but Khabib still would have won. But I wish they both would have won through tough. I wish all this whole build-up would have happened, but Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Too late. I think this could actually be a decent, entertaining fight. El Kukui doesn't give up. He's gonna come out and strike. Bobby Green, he's gonna come out and strike. He's probably gonna run his mouth a little bit. Do I like the tag of Bobby Green? Hell no, not even close to the absolute extent. But where both of their path careers are right now, who's on the better overall tent? I think it's Bobby Green right now. But if you're telling me right now, I only had like 67 to 6,900 left, I would easily take a flyer on Ferguson because he's still Tony Ferguson, El Kukui. But I'm slightly on Bobby Green. I want to go Ferguson, but I think Ferguson's done.
That's fair, and I think that's kind of the trending decision. Actually, let's take a look at what Tapology voters have real quick. So the 27% have T Ferguson, and you go look at the RotoWire picks, everybody has T Ferguson or everybody has Bobby Green except for me. I have Tony Ferguson. Ferguson's going to be back in this fight.
Dude, like I said, I have him circled as a dog, but as I said, until I
took him straight up. I'm the only one in the RotoWire picks that took him. I'm telling you right now, he looked good in his fight against Nate Diaz and Michael Chandler until he was knocked out. And the way that I see this, it's only 3 rounds, not 5. Bobby Green will have an advantage in volume if he is able to get there, but I think Tony still has the advantage everywhere else. If Tony says he's not done, which he's saying that he's not done, I'm going to take his word for it this time. I haven't gone with him in any other fight. I love him in this fight.
The only thing that worries about me, like, look, I know he's one of them crazy Mexicans. They always want to scrap. They don't care who the hell is against. It's almost like he's in that Donald Cerrone syndrome where, yes, Cerrone was losing like 5, 6, 7 fights in a row, but that's why I like Ferguson. He'll take any fight, anytime, anywhere, and you're going to have to literally kill him to beat him.
Yep.
And I've heard crazy stories about him, which I'll talk to a whole another story about that. But like I said, am I mad he picked Ferguson? Hell no. But I'm more of like, I need to see it to believe it. And I'll gladly eat my words. I'll gladly get this pick wrong because I've been a fan of Ferguson since Ultimate Fighter.
I think a lot of people will be glad if they get their pick wrong. But I'm taking Ferguson because I honestly think that he wins this fight. Nothing against Bobby Green, but
I honestly think he'll get some decent ownership too. Like just
I'm sure he will at 6,700. Yeah,
because I already got Bobby Green crossed out. Like there's no chance on the prayer of hell that I got Bobby Green in any type of contest.
No, because in order for him to pay off, he either has to have a shit ton of control and takedowns, which he's not going to get, or he needs to get a first round finish, which he's not going to get. So
the only other way he wins this fight, and I'm not even comparing it because it's not going to happen. He needs to do what O'Malley did to Montino and absolutely pepper the living dog shit out of him for 3. But I'm not going to see that happen because Bobby Green likes to showboat too damn much.
What if I told you that I have Tony Ferguson by knockout? Because I do.
I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be at the sports book bar. I'm going to scream on top of my lungs if that happens.
Yeah, you could say that your boy called it too.
I'll give you a nice little round of applause.
So, all righty. Well, both of us are split on that one. It's a sad split, unfortunately, but I am going with Tony Ferguson. You have Bobby Green. And next up, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Michelle Pereira. I got Wonderboy. Any type of striking match, I'm going to take Wonderboy. Just about every single one. If Pereira decides he wants to come out and show off his wrestling and grappling that he used to do before he got into the UFC, okay, well, Wonderboy is going to be in trouble because he sucks against grapplers and wrestlers. Mm-hmm. He doesn't hide it. He doesn't want to fight him. He took this thinking that Pereira is going to sit there and strike with him. So in a striking match, I got Wonderboy all day.
I was actually torn on this fight. I don't want to kind of compare it to the Holm and Bruno Silva fight, but as I say, age does catch up to you eventually. And the only thing I am worried about in this fight, yes, Pereira has that weird dancing type style, flashiness, and all that shit. I think the 2 things could happen in this fight. Thompson wins a point decision, and Pereira gets beat up by kicks and straight 1-2s. Or, as you said, Pereira has been showing lately he's going back to his takedown roots in the last few fights. And that's the case. And I'm going off this because I called it with Bueno Silva. We both called Bueno Silva. And I said I would love to see more youth on the come up, which I didn't know Pereira was only 30. That boy looked like he's 40. Huh? 29?
29.
I thought he was 40 the way he looks. But I'm going Pereira. I'm thinking, like, I know, striker versus striker. If it stays striking for 15, Thompson's going to win a 30-27. But if Pereira actually mixes it up, and my one worry I'm concerned about, mainly because of the style of Pereira, what if he does something flashy, very similar to how Anthony Pettis caught Wonderboy? Is it very capable of doing it? Absolutely, the way his style is. But I think Pereira's going to mix it in. I think he's going to get takedowns control. I don't know about a submission because Wonderboy, submission-wise, is pretty good defensively. But I'm on Pereira. I want to see the young upcomer guy come up. And age does catch up to you. You saw it in the Holly Holm fight. Age does catch up.
It does, but I mean, he just put down almost 170 strikes against Holland.
Don't get
So
me started with Holland. Don't get me started with that.
don't think that's going to be much of an issue.
No.
But like I said, if Pereira turns this into a ground game, it's going to be him all day.
Like for price tag wise, if I'm going to save salary, I'm going to Pereira. Because I don't know if Wonderboy is going to pay off 8,800 unless he absolutely pepper volume shit out of him.
I won't use Wonderboy.
No.
In,
this is a dog or pass situation. But if you're going for, anything else, Wonderboy's not a bad pick. I'm going for the more dangerous, more wild fighter on this one. And Wonderboy against similar fighter, Anthony Pettis. He got caught, but that was a lucky jumping fist. But Pereira could do that, but I think Pereira's more well-rounded than Wonderboy. He does have wrestling in his back roots. He does have jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go Pereira.
It's not a bad play. I don't disagree with it. So we are split on this one as well. I've got Wonderboy. You've got Pereira. Next up, we have Jan Blachowicz against Alex Pereira.
You go first.
Nah, because I'll be first in the next one. What do you got?
I'll say right now, I know this is Pereira's first fight coming up 205, but naturally, this is probably a way easier, way better weight cut for him.
He's a natural 205. There's no doubt about it.
Because he cuts his weight around 225, 230, and he gets down to 205. And I can't wait to see him on the scale tomorrow because he's going to look absolutely humongous.
Yep.
And everyone keeps saying, the whole Polish power. Look, how many finishes does Jan actually have in UFC besides what Dominic Reyes, Corey Anderson, and forget who else? He doesn't have many. But Polish power can knock you out. Polish power really doesn't have that many finishes in the UFC. Yes, he's well-rounded. Don't get me wrong. He's very well-rounded. But one thing I will say about this, I actually did some looking into it. And I thought, could Jan Blachowicz do something similar to what he did to Izzy? Is it very possible? It could be very possible. But this is where my big but comes in. Since day one of Pereira getting into mixed martial arts, he's been with Glover. And I will put any amount of money in my bank account that he's been practicing his wrestling and takedown defense. And it's not like Blachowicz is a world-class damn wrestler, because he's not. I saw anyway, basic ass takedowns because Izzy was first time to be in 205. His body wasn't there. You're going against a guy that can fight heavyweight with no problem. I'm on Pereira. I think Pereira is going to end up possibly knocking him the hell out at some point. Very similar to how Thiago Santos knocked him out.
I don't hate it. I did go opposite. I have on Blachowicz, and the only reason I'm on him is for the wrestling. And in a striking match, I will take Pereira all day. But Blachowicz, he does have power in his hands. There's no doubt about it. But it's his wrestling that is going to win in this fight. And if he chooses not to do it, well, more than likely we're going to look at some ridiculous knockout for Pereira. So it's kind of one of those just GPP fights. Go with who you trust most and roll with it. But another fight.
Let me ask you a question before we get to the next fight.
Yep.
I know if Pereira wins, my guess is within the first 2 rounds, depending on how the overall volume works.
Give me 1 second. I got to pause it. All right, get back at it.
Huh?
What were you saying?
Oh, pretty much like if, let's say, prime example, this fight's a closer fight. Pereira does stop some takedowns. but he doesn't knock out Jan. Because I would say for the most part, besides like for Thiago and somebody, like, I'm probably thinking about somebody else I can't even think about, but for the most part, Jan has a chin. But
Yep.
and this is where my big old butt comes in. I will put any amount of money. He has never fought the power and striking ability of Pereira, and I'm not even close. And the reason why I want to see Pereira win this fight, I want to see, and I'm calling this a super fight. A lot of people may not say it is, but I'm saying it is. I want to see Pereira versus Yuri Prohaska. I just buttered your interest, right? Yeah. I've been talking about that all night. I want to see that fight so bad. As long as it lasts. I don't know how long it's gonna
Yeah, but
last.
a Prohaska fight with anybody is freaking exciting.
Dude, that's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, he's fun.
I was excited to see him and Jamal Hill before the injuries went down, but that's one of my dream matchups to see at 205.
All
Once I
right,
heard
well,
news.
let's move on from that one. We are split, but it's another one of those fights where it's really, really close. And if it is a striking match, Pereira likely wins. But I'm taking Blachowicz. You've got Pereira. Next up, we have the main event for the vacant UFC title. Stupid. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje, two of my absolute favorite fighters. I have a signed pair of fight shorts from Poirier.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You never told me that.
Yeah, they're over there. But yeah, man, it sucks. I hate having to choose between them. I love them both. Um, for this one, over the last time they fought was 2018. It's been 5 years. Gaethje has made strides and strides more improvement than Poirier has. And don't get me wrong, Poirier is still a phenomenal fighter. He's one of the best. The problem with being one of the best is there's not really a whole lot of room for improvement. And since that fight, Gaethje has just been incredible. And that last fight that he had with Faisal, I don't think I've ever seen him fight so well. That was Justin Gaethje's best fight of his career. And it was so precise. It was so technical. I've never, I go down to say that literally in the last like year, in terms of just like a decision fight, that was the best decision fight that I've seen out of any fighter. Justin Gaethje was just spot on, pinpoint with everything. His defense was great. He looked phenomenal. If he does that in this fight, he's gonna eventually knock Poirier out, in the championship rounds. Poirier will have an advantage with the grappling. Gaethje probably has the advantage wrestling. It's going to be. I think the ground game kind of gets canceled out a little bit, and it's just going to be striking. And Poirier came out and said that there's, it's 5 rounds of striking. No, someone's going to get knocked out, or they're both going to be in the hospital bed.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a hell of a fight. This is a game that you could probably stack in cash games, like you had mentioned earlier as well. But I'm on Gaethje. I like Gaethje to continue his rise, and there was mentions from some people saying that whoever loses this fight should retire. And I swear to God, if one of them retires, I might bawl like a baby.
So one thing I'll say about Gaethje, he's still looking into the bigger picture. Yes. Does he want this fight back as a win? Yes. Does he necessarily care about this belt? Fuck no. This belt's a joke, in my opinion. Poirier, I think Poirier is almost into the category where money fight. I think he's at the point where I don't think he's going to get another title fight. He's had title fights before. I don't see him getting another one.
Well, if you saw, I'm going to pause you right there. Holloway wants the winner of this fight. That's what he came out and said. He wants the winner, and my guess is that he's going to get it. So continue.
Ooh, okay, that just shut me the hell up real quick. Okay, damn. So yeah, Gaethje. I know you were on Gaethje against Fiziev. Who the hell is? I think I might have been on Fiziev. Maybe
you were.
I think I was.
I was on one of the. I was one of the few people on Gaethje.
Yeah. Gaethje looked, and I seen Gaethje live. That was, like I said, you took the words out of my mouth. That was probably the best Gaethje I've ever seen in my life. He stood in the pocket. He threw his combinations very well. And I'll tell you right now, if you would have asked me this fight maybe yesterday, I would have said Poirier. Gotta go Gaethje. I was so close picking Poirier before going up to this video. I was like, look, What could happen? Could Poirier potentially rock Gaethje a little bit? Does he get on skates a little bit? Yeah, but for the most part, Gaethje Chin's pretty good, and that's why I thought maybe a rock and sub potentially similar to Chandler, but Gaethje's
Let me
Gaethje's
tell you
on.
right now. So for those that are slightly more casual and they don't, dig into shit like we do, Gaethje's last fight against Faisiev is considered one of the best and premier strikers in the UFC. He
Entire.
has, yes, the entire, not the division, the entire. His striking is crisp, it's clean, it's strong, it's fast, it's everything. He has some of the best striking, and Gaethje put on a clinic. I mean, the fight was close. Don't get me wrong; it was a majority
Yes.
decision to Gaethje. It was close, but Gaethje won that fight clear as day in my eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
to say that and to win a fight against Faisiev like that, it says a lot. And I'm just not sure how Poirier could deal with the new Gaethje.
And doesn't Gaethje train at altitude too? So that's also like a bonus.
Always a bonus.
Yes. I think, like I said, for cash, this is to be an easy stackable fight.
Yep.
GPP, pick your side. I'm not a believer in stacking in GPPs personally, but could it be a fight that is stackable? Yes. Um, I mainly try to go 6-0 every time, but I'm going Gaethje. I think his impressive run is still going to continue. And like I said, he has title admirations. I think Poirier is more of a money fight.
Correct. Yeah, Poirier has come out and said he did. I mean, he doesn't really care about fighting for the belt anymore. So Gaethje still wants. Well, he wants the belt
I'm going for
back.
the more hungry fighter right now, from the sounds of it. I don't know Poirier personally, but from just seeing interviews, I think Gaethje's still hungry. He's
I think
still wanting
Gaethje's
to.
pissed that he lost to that fight against Habib.
Oh yeah, yeah. It could be rocked at one point.
So imagine this. So the Gaethje Chandler fight, they were both in the hospital afterwards, and that fight was only 3 rounds. We're getting 5 rounds with Poirier and
Five.
Gaethje. This fight is going to be phenomenal. I mean, if you're not going to tune into any other fight, this is the one to tune into because it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait for it.
As
So
long as it lasts.
both of us going with the dog, Justin Gaethje to come out on top, and yeah. So man, this really does have the makings of a really good card. I hope it doesn't get spoiled. So I know you said you wanted to lock in
Lima, and it's not even close.
Lima. Yep, yep. So yeah, you're gonna lock
It's
into
not even
Lima.
close.
I'm gonna lock in Bonfim. It's just
Yep, my number two lock.
two really big ones. My favorite dog on the card, man. It's tough because I do have a few of them, but I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the card. I'm really big on Medic in this card. I'm
That's
still
another
really
one.
impressed. I know we've talked about how we don't like fighters out of he trains in
Alaska.
Alaska. So he's from Serbia. He trained in Alaska. That's where he fought for a long time. Now he's obviously here. I'm not sure where he's training at now, actually. I don't know if he goes back. Yeah, he is still fighting out of Alaska. So, there's a lot of advantages to it. The biggest disadvantage is there isn't a ton of fighters up there, not a lot of skilled fighters, at least. But man, Medica, he's something special. I think we get to see it once again in this one. So I'm going to lock him in as my dog.
I like that. If I had to go for a dog, you probably already know where I'm going to go. He's one of my favorite dogs. I'm going, but I'm not even say Gaethje because Gaethje's probably the obvious. Oh, 7,900.
Yeah.
I'm going Chiesa.
Yep. And so you and I, first and fifth fights we are agreed on. The other three we are split on.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things have gone, I will probably be wrong on all three of those because that's just how goofy MMA has been this year.
And before we end the video, who's up on picks? I lost track.
I'm up still.
Oh,
I know. Poor baby.
mm.
You got a bit. You still got a bit to catch up to me.
Yeah.
My computer is about to die and it's not charging, so that's a concern.
Oh.
All righty. Well, that wraps this card up. Let's see. Hopefully this makes it through this part. Next week we have.
I have no idea.
Oh, that's the Sandhagen Font fight.
That's gonna be another
there are some. Your girls, Tatiana Suarez, is on that card. I know you're looking forward to that one.
Oh yes, yes. That's a happy.
So yeah, there's some good ones on there. Not a ton. Ludovic Klein's on there.
Who's he fighting?
Hey, Kyler Phillips is back.
Wait, isn't he fighting? No, he's not fighting Kyle Phillips.
Klein is fighting Baja Mondays.
Oh, damn.
Jeremiah Wells is on this card. Billy Q's back. Let's fucking go.
Who's Wells fighting? I forget who. I saw the name earlier.
Carlson Harris.
Sorry, I pick Carlton in some place. Sorry, Carl.
No, he's dead. And so is Damon Jackson. He's going against Billy Q.
Ew.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. But this week this should be one hell of a card. You guys should tune in, and that'll wrap this one up. As always, we appreciate you watching, and we will catch you next week.